Hello there, and we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to another episode of Real Talk Premier League show. And see ya, guys, yeah, you know what, yeah? I had to go knock on the door of this my brother, man. I had to go knock on the door of this my brother. See ya, guys, yeah, of course you guys know him in different circles around this YouTube space. This guy, I love this man. Yeah, this guy's been tremendous. He came to my channel. I remembered when I first started. I asked him, "Hey, Manny, I would like you to come to my channel," and this guy came, and he did not just come. He also helped me to develop this channel. Give it a little bit of more credibility at the time when I was, just out there and trying to, push the channel. This guy was there. And you know what? He's back to the channel. Guys, yeah, see, no other person than Manny Tangadarai. Manny, you're welcome to Real
Thank
Talk,
you
man.
for
How you doing?
Thank you for yeah. I've been good. I've been good, and thank you for welcoming me back. It has been a long time, and I know that you've been busy, obviously, hosting a lot more shows, getting some more guests in, and I think it's also grown in many ways. And I've been busy doing some of my own things too, on YouTube or otherwise away from that, several other things. But it is good to be back on. I've needed to come back on this channel for quite some time, and listen, it's not even a question of knocking on my door. You just give me a ring, and I come
Yeah.
running.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, more sports world is also down here with us. Great guy, guys. Go check out his channel when you do catch up this later on. See, Manny, yeah, because this would just be maybe like a tops 40 minutes program. So we're gonna go through what we have to go through quite fast, but more effectively anyway. And that's what one person does quite well, and that's Manny Tangadarai. Manny, more sports world says Manny is quality. Doesn't get better than this, yeah. The love is real.
Appreciate
See,
that.
Manny, straight to the frying pan, yeah. See, um, Gabriel Jesus. I'll start with that one, yeah. Gabriel Jesus. The official word from Arsenal Football Club was that Gabriel Jesus was injured. Uh, he's already missed 5 games already. He was injured since October. And since then, of course, missed 5 games. Uh, After that, a report came out that he was gonna, nurse that injury, go through rehabilitation, and actually he was gonna be out until at least December. That was the official word that was out. Even the Arsenal Football Club stated that, of course, in their website. Money fast forward to just a week now. The Brazilian FA have invited Gabriel Jesus to be among those who would play in their international friendly and in their World Cup qualifying matchup. See, they played the first one. He wasn't there. I heard he was in training. He trained with the Brazilian national team. But this time he came in as a second half substitute in that training. Right now, right now, I heard in their matchup coming up against Argentina, I heard he's playing. He's going to be actually playing as their number 9. This is what I heard. And in the training that they're training in the Brazilian national team right now, I heard he's spearheading the attack right now. See, the discrepancies, the problems, the obvious communication problems you can see between Arsenal and the Brazilian FA. Could you shed a little bit of light into what's really going on uh, with these guys? Is it that Arsenal is covering up something, or is it that the Brazilian FA is not taking that bullshit and they're calling Arsenal's bluff and they're gonna do what they're gonna do anyway?
Look, one of the things which I've learned of late, Tony, is that sometimes, with certain injuries, we predict that they may actually, see a player out for a long period of time, and yet, due to the brilliance of the medical staff, be it for club or country or what have you, and the work that the patient himself does to get rehabilitated, the recovery ends up being a lot more quick. I don't know if we've got any rugby fans on the stream tonight. I know that Moss enjoys a bit of rugby every now and then. Obviously, in Canada, they consider rugby to be a huge passion of theirs. Maybe not so much in the US, but the recently retired former Welsh captain Alan Wynne-Jones was initially selected to be a part of the British and Irish Lions team, which would tour the then reigning world champions South Africa in I think that was in 2021, if memory serves me right. Now, sadly, prior to the tour, I believe they played a warm-up game back in the UK, and he apparently injured his shoulder. And sadly, the way the injury was, although there was a small window of opportunity for him to possibly recover from that and rejoin the Lions squad, it was expected that he wouldn't be fit enough to make the tour. So the sad part at the time was that his Lions career would have been over. He would have ended up, if he had played all 3 tests, joined several legends on playing 12 by playing 12, but he wasn't expected to recover in time. But due to the excellent work he did by himself and also the work that the medical staff did, he recovered a lot more quickly than expected and was actually fit enough to rejoin the squad and the tour in time for the test series, and ended up playing in all 3 tests, starting in all of them, and playing the full 80 minutes for both of them, only being substituted after about an hour or so in the 3rd test, which ended up being a tight Lions defeat. Now, I'm sorry for rambling on, but the point I'm making is, obviously there's a huge gap between Gabriel Jesus' injury and what happened now. And a lot of people probably said that at the time, because of the severity of his injury, he might be out for a long time. Even now, bear in mind, we still don't know exactly when Jurrien Timber will be back. There are several conflicting statements saying that that's his season over and done, over and out, but other reports saying no, he should be back
by January, actually.
Exactly, by January. So we just don't. It's not even a question of not really knowing about the injury. I just think that maybe there seems to be a lack of communication between Arsenal and the Brazilian FC, as you've said quite perfectly. Because surely, if it is the case that Jesus is fit enough to play against the world champions, no less, then he should be okay to rejoin Arsenal and be a part of their season. However, let's put something in perspective. He still wasn't considered fit enough to be a part of Arsenal's squad in their most recent games. And maybe during that time, they felt that although his rehabilitation was progressing well, maybe it wasn't progressing to the level that Arsenal would have liked. But if that's the case, if he isn't good enough to be in the squad for Arsenal, he sure as eggs cannot be good enough to be in the squad for the Brazilian national team. And mind you, when Brazil played against Colombia, they actually had some of their regulars missing. And Gabriel Martinelli started for them wearing the number 22 shirt because the number 9 was taken by another fella, not Gabriel Jesus. Now, knowing Fernando Diniz as well as I do, he's not a fool. He's not going to be tempted really to throw an unfit Gabriel Jesus into the cauldron of a game against the world champions, which is really must win for both teams. Maybe not so much for Argentina because they're still top of the group despite losing at home to a Uruguay side coached by their former coach, Marcelo Bielsa. Leeds fans obviously will remember him. And with Jesus, of course, let's also bear in mind that he wasn't even a starter when Brazil played the World Cup. I believe, like Gabriel Martinelli, he was more of a substitute. It was Richarlison and Neymar who were the starters. Of course, Neymar being injured means that a lot will depend on Gabriel Jesus, but he's still not quite prolific either for club or for country. And, you can't really, as a manager, expect to take a chance with him and his record against Argentina, who will definitely be looking to bounce back. And, of course, they will have more than enough motivation to try and beat Brazil, because any clash between these two South American giants is a clash to savor for good reasons and bad.
And it's always first. It's always first.
Agreed. And, Brazil obviously will remember too well their loss to Argentina at the
mm,
Maracanã when they played the Copa America final. Revenge, of course, will certainly be on the agenda. But
mm.
I just think I wouldn't necessarily say that there is, some incompetence going on. It might be a slight communication breakdown, but if the Brazilian FA do inform Arsenal that Jesus is a little bit fitter and is progressing well, then that's fine. But having said all of that, I'm not too sure Arsenal would necessarily have been happy with the development without, being intimated, having that intimated to them by the Brazilian FA. So look, I'm prepared to sort of wait this out and see how it happens, because I do believe they're going to be playing tomorrow, as you've said,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so it depends on what will happen. I don't think Jesus will start the game. I think Martinelli should get to start. He certainly proved that he was worthy of playing as a centre forward with that goal, and we might talk about him later. And maybe Jesus will come on as a bit of a substitute to get a little bit of a run out to sort of assess his fitness. I definitely don't see him starting the full game. And let's of course not forget that when he came on as a substitute against Manchester United for us, he scored the goal which pretty much wrapped everything up with a ribbon. So
Yeah,
maybe he'll do the same thing for Brazil. We'll never know.
maybe. We never
He's going
know.
to have it. But he and Brazil's forwards are going to have a tough time trying to get the ball past Emi Martinez, who prior
Mm,
to that loss to Uruguay had set a national record for not conceding a goal for his country, and is still, in my opinion, the best goalkeeper in the world today, or at least in the top 3 or top 5.
I do agree. Although I think Courtois is still a little bit, just a little bit better than him. But that's my
Courtois,
own.
no, no, I understand. I respect your opinion, but listen, he had been making far too many mistakes for Belgium of late. He's now out for an entire season with an ACL injury, and this could very well the
I'm
beginning of
also
the
looking
end of
at
his
club
career.
side. I'm also considering club side also, of course, in Real Madrid, where he's won multiple trophies. Uh, Ball playing goalkeeper, nice reflexes, good distributor of the ball too. But again, of course, still open to interpretation anyway. But
Yeah,
so,
yeah, but
I still do think that Martinez is still a solid top goalkeeper anyway. See,
absolutely.
yeah, definitely. We're still in this striker issue. Yeah, big ups to Anthony Herbert who joined us down here. He says, "Yeah, big up Tony and Manny. I did read that Arteta wants Victor Boniface from Bayer Leverkusen. Good start. See, we're still in this striker issues around the football club. So we'll keep talking about it. Um, Chelsea Football Club, as I've heard, are in negotiations with Brentford. That report was carried by the Metro today in the UK, and they said that Brentford have slapped 80 million pound fee, a transfer fee for the signing of of Ivan Tony. And I heard that Arsenal are becoming jittery about that. About negotiating that signing, and right now, Vlahovic have come back into the picture for Mikel Arteta. Mind you, I've been. I think I was somewhere with you, Manny, and then we were talking about this striker stuff, and I said that. Uh, Ivan Tony. I doubt it that Mikel Arteta might want to bring that guy in because he's a tough London kid. He's a tough young London boy. I don't think Mikel Arteta, as inexperienced in his man management skills, I don't think he has the technical know-how on how to handle a tough kid from London like Ivan Tony. See, and I do think that Vlahovic might be the guy he might actually be looking at. Uh, What do you think about this? Do you think Arsenal would go for Ivan Tony? And mind you, FFP rules pressing down our necks, £80 million. What do you think?
Let me ask you something. If Brentford are willing to slap that much of a price for someone like Ivan Tony, who is Premier League proven but hasn't really been able to do the business internationally and has really never been outside his own comfort zone of West London, How much do you think Dusan Vlahovic will cost? Let's bear in mind that he's playing for one of the top European clubs. Of course, he is really sought after. So it's only natural that if he's going to be coveted by Premier League clubs, many of whom are expected to have the money to be willing to go for him, they'd actually want to. The clubs that own those players will want to get more from them if they possibly can. So, as far as Vlahovic is concerned, if we're not able to stump up the cash, which in all likelihood we're not, we can sort of forget about trying to get him. And never mind the fact that Tony's a bit of a tough character, I still sort of have the idea that his gambling past, especially involving his own team, will certainly serve as a bit of a problem. Mind you, both you and I are old enough to remember Magic Man Paul Merson, who put on some amazing displays for us over the years, and who still was able to prove with the likes of Middlesbrough, Aston Villa, and Portsmouth later on that he was more than capable of still kicking it, pun intended. But off the field, he had a troubled life with gambling and alcohol, and it was the gambling that threatened at one time to take a toll on his career in many ways. And even now, when you take a look at his personal life, he has to have his better half handle his finances. So I'm not too sure that having someone like Tony with his own past will really be of any benefit to us, especially if it means moving to a big club where he might end up earning a little bit more money. What's the guarantee that he's going to know more and more how to handle it or what to do with it? And could his off-field activities affect the profile of the club? There are so many reasons I can think of, Tony, that will make it clear that Ivan Tony is not really a perfect fit for us. And the sad part is that in terms of ability, he's strong, he's got speed to burn, he's every bit the striker that Aubameyang was for us. And yet, sadly, we all knew how the Aubameyang thing went. And I think there's also this idea that as long as we've got Jesus and Nketiah and Leandro Trossard being able to play as a false nine, and of course, after seeing Gabriel Martinelli score as a centre forward, there's no way that Arteta, in his own willful ignorance, can overlook any of that. So he might decide to say, you know what, I've got all the strikers that I need. And big up to Trossard, who has been justifying his selection.
Incredible, nice goal he scored in the internationals. He's proving to be a fox in the box. That kind of guy that would just stay in the 18-yard box and score goals, and he's done it. He's done it.
Absolutely.
I saw his positional play. I think in the matchup against who did Belgium play? I forgot it. Maybe is it Azerbaijan or something like that?
No, it's not Azerbaijan. They're on my TV screen now, and it was Lukaku who had a field day against them. It would have been another team, I think. And in any case, it doesn't matter because Belgium already through to the Euros, and
definitely,
Trossard will certainly have a role to play. I think the big problem with Trossard is that, as talented as he undoubtedly is, he's a little bit too maybe inconsistent in a way. But the sad part is that can definitely be put down to some extent to Arteta's tactics and the way he's using certain players, and he's not the only player who's ending up being affected. And so, look, as far as having a striker is concerned, that may actually segue back into the Gabriel Jesus thing. If he is able to prove his fitness and is able to, play in some reserve team games for Arsenal, then there should be no reason why he doesn't come back into the team before the turn of the year. My only problem is that, of course, during the winter months, that is when the grounds do tend to get a little bit heavy. And so he will definitely have to take care of himself. I'm certain that Fernando Diniz will not want to run the risk of losing him either for the World Cup qualifiers or for the Copa America, which Brazil will play in. So I definitely don't think that Arteta will want to sign a striker. And bear in mind, we broke the bank to get Declan Rice to the club. FFP, as you said, are breathing down our necks right now. So, trying to get a good striker for, however much money we can afford will be, trying to... It's like trying to go to the Ivy and only being able and not even being able to pay for your meal because instead of a credit card, you've got a Blockbuster video card or something like that. I know it's a silly comparison, but that's the way it is. Bear in mind, of
It's
course,
a wild
we
one.
got
It's a wild
and
one.
we got Trossard last season, mind you, for a steal at 27 million. At one
Mhm.
point, we were almost willing to pay about 99 million for Mikhailo Mudrak, who, credit to him, has actually started to showcase his ability under Pochettino. So well done to Poch for that. But at
Mm,
27 million, Trossard was a steal. And
mm.
so, knowing Arsenal as well as we do, for the most part, we're a bunch of penny pinchers. The Rice transfer really is only the exception to the rule. And
Okay, look
we're
at
not
this
even going to have
scenario.
enough money to spend. We might not even have enough money to spend in January, bear in mind.
Definitely, because I don't really think Arsenal is ready to go into a bidding war with Chelsea Football Club for with Brentford for Ivan Tony for 80 million pounds. Where we don't have that money, and of course FFP rules. See, even scratch that, yeah. But I'm seeing a possibility in a case. Thomas Partey has been muted to leave the club by as early as January, mind you. And of course, his number one destination is to the old lady, the Juventus. Uh, with that, there might be a little bit kind of like a transactional kind of business that might go on between Arsenal and a sought after a striker down there who's at Juventus right now. Of course, Dusan Vlahovic. Dusan Vlahovic, at least with his transfer mark price, shouldn't go for anything less than at least 70 million pounds. That's what we are looking at. Yeah, it's not the striker that has scored 30 plus goals or 30 something plus goals in the Italian Serie A. Quite a decent showing for Fiorentina quite a few years ago, but he hasn't replicated that form. Both for country and both for the old ladies recently. Anyway, so I don't see why 70 million pounds wouldn't be okay. So definitely, if Arsenal are going to do business by January with 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 Juventus, then I think part payment plus a little bit kind of like a slash, with the price of Dusan Vlahovic with Thomas Partey going the other way should suffice. What do you think?
I want to take a look at the stats for Vlahovic this season because obviously, he is an important player for his country, as you've said. And I'm just trying to, yeah, so far he's got 4 goals this season, all of them in Serie A, none in the Coppa Italia. And of course, the added appeal for Vlahovic to leave Juventus would be that Arsenal can, at least for now, offer him European football, and that is Champions League football. But there's also going to be a catch, mind you, because if PSV Eindhoven and Lens win both of their remaining games, and bear in mind, they've both got to play us. So if they win both of their remaining games, they will qualify for the next stage of the Champions League at our expense. And so that's going to be something that we'll have to, really watch over because we can't take for granted that we're going to, qualify very easily. That's going to be another problem. And
Definitely.
if we don't qualify for the next stage and end up going into the Europa League, of course, that will be better than no European football at all. But taking a look at the stats for Juve, for them, goals are thin on the ground. They haven't been able to score too many. It's
Mm,
basically Chiesa and Vlahovic who have 4 each, with Arkadiusz Milik having 2, and several other players with 1 goal each. So they've really only scored about 19 for the season up till now. And that is
yeah.
literally the worst among the top 5 teams, bearing in mind, of course, that Inter Milan have 29, although AC Milan and Atalanta have only scored 20 themselves. But you would think that for a club like Juve, who would want to try to get back into the European elite,
Mm,
um, goals would be a priority. And so I
yeah.
don't see any reason why Juventus would want to let go of Vlahovic if he's still, capable of scoring. Now, if he were unhappy at the old lady, then, maybe that would work. The only problem
Maybe
is
that would
it
work.
would.
Yeah.
The only problem is it would have to be a case that Juventus would be more than willing to sell him if it meant that they would get
But
some
but
good money for
Juventus
him in
have their
return.
own financial problems of their own. Mind you, they were trying to pad the books when they were caught a couple of months ago, and when they were suspended. Not suspended, but a few points was huffed away from their total point in the Italian Serie A. I think was it not last year or this year or so? But again, they were trying to pack the books. There's something wrong with their accounting. Definitely, if points were removed because of some accounting problems and financial problems within the football club, it leaves nothing for the imagination that they are in serious financial trouble. So they might want to sell one or two big wigs in the team to kind of like compensate mostly with the hit from not participating in the Champions League this season.
Yeah, of course you might have a point. You might have a point. But then why would you still want to sell one of your better performing players if you can try and get away with selling some other players who are on higher wages, even if you may not be able to get as much money for them? At the very least you can do is trim the wage bill, and
Mm,
they do seem to have a very big squad.
yeah.
So I would definitely say that if we are willing to do business with them, if we are willing to offer them Thomas Partey in exchange, and if that deal can go forward, then I suppose maybe that can possibly work. But then, knowing Arsenal as well as we do, Tony, there's always going to be a way that deal ends up falling through. So I'm not about to get my hopes up. Listen,
Get your
brother,
hopes
I
up.
do have a small thing to attend, but I will be back in 60 seconds. I promise you.
Yeah, sure, definitely. See ya, guys. Before Manny comes back, yeah. See, Arsenal, Arsenal director Edu Gaspar wins the Best European Director Award at the Golden Boy 2023, voted by the boards of legends. See ya, guys in the charts. Yeah. See, do you think that award is well deserved by Edu Gaspar? Um, with Edu Gaspar, getting to that position of director of football at Arsenal, uh, guys, do you think? I just want to see what you think in the chat here. Do you think all this accolades, yeah, going to going to Edu Gaspar, because it it's not just on this in this one. I've seen lots of places where this guy's been scooping awards. Yeah, is it that we as Arsenal fans aren't kind of like uh aren't kind of like eroding what we have right now, or i- is he overperforming? Because I'm seeing him at Arsenal. Yeah, this guy has been given lots of money to recruit players, and I'm sorry, man, our recruitment has been suspect. Yeah, apart from Jurien Timber, that, like, which other signing has really been you know really been big, and you know I don't know, but he's getting all the plaudits. He's getting all the accolades everywhere. People appreciate this guy, even to the extent of the boards of legends. Okay, Manny Tangara is back here. See, Manny, Arsenal director Edu Gaspar wins the Best European Director Award at the Golden Boy 2023, voted by Board of Legends. See, Manny, voted.
I'm listening.
Just look at that again, yeah? Voted by boards of legend. So these guys, they probably maybe they've played the beautiful game. They might know the beautiful game more than us in terms of the physicality involved, in terms of the technicalities involved in understanding the game, even some in administration, because most of them have been through administration. So, in other words, they might know more than us. See, Manny, what is it about Edu Gasper that many other people are actually heralding, clapping for? There's lots of jamboree for this guy. What are we Arsenal fans not seeing? Is it that we're not seeing something? Because I'm seeing many clubs saying they want to get this guy if Arsenal want to get rid of him. Yeah. And Arsenal quickly elevated this guy to, where? Director of football. Money. Are we blind? Or is it a case of we're not appreciating what we have until we lose it? You know that saying, Manny. You should
Where
know
do
that,
I even
man.
begin? I mean, look,
You're a lover, man. You know more about this too.
all I will say to this is this: the same disease which is sort of afflicting several fans who have the temerity to say that Mikel Arteta is the best-looking Spaniard we know. I think that might have ended up being spread over to those guys who voted him in, the board of legends. Maybe they took into consideration the fact that, despite a few problems, they've supposedly weathered this. Edu and company have weathered the storm by, and giving us a young team that very nearly won the league last year. The narrative, of course, has been so well controlled that people are going to say that, with City going on to win the treble, we gave the best team in the world a run for their money, and credit should go where it deserves to go. But a large number of people these days are sadly unable to see the wood from the trees, as we would
Mm,
say, and
mm.
you know I think maybe in some of their eyes, what's not to love about Edu Gaspar? Brazilian, a lot more suave and sophisticated than in his playing days. Has a beaming, bright smile. Can certainly cook up a good barbecue. Again, what's not
With
to
good,
like?
with good suits also. You have
Yeah.
to love the
Uh,
suits.
Yeah, by the way, as a sidebar, you've got to try some Brazilian barbecue. There's nothing like it.
Mm,
Seriously. I haven't really experienced a full churrasco, but I remember celebrating a Festa Junina one time back in the US. The Brazilian community got together to have a nice festival full of amazing food and drink and some, music and dancing and revelry. And it's a very religious sort of occasion. So if you're a Catholic, especially, that is the place
yeah.
for you. And of course, you know, barbecue is, of course, their speciality, really, especially if it's, barbecued rump steak over the grill. They also offer cupim, which is the hump of the zebu cattle. Also slowly roasted, delicious. But anyway, back to Mr. Gaspar.
Mm,
Um, Look, as I've said, it's a question of the narrative being such that with Arsenal being a club on the up, credit has supposedly in their minds got to go where credit is due. Now,
yeah.
I will be the first to admit that because of my contempt for Edu, I never really bothered to look into the reasoning behind why he was picked to win this award. And to be honest, a lot of us fans will tell you at the end of the day, it's results at the end of the season that count. It's a bit like when Alex Ferguson used to win all these Manager of the Month awards for the wonderful job he was doing at Manchester United on a month-by-month basis. But at the end of the season,
Mm,
because he didn't win the league, they meant nothing. And it was only when he won the Premier League in '93, breaking that 26-year drought, that it started to continue. He started to win more and more and more, and the rest is history.
yeah.
So, look, at the end of the day, all of these things are Brazilian, Uruguayan, and Argentinian barbecues are awesome, almost as good as Western Canada.
Mm,
That's
mm.
the patriotism of our friend Moss shining through there.
Moss.
Um, but yeah, listen, again, we really shouldn't be reading too much into this award, Tony, because it's just
Okay.
another case of, you know, um, Arsenal's PR being able to, work overtime, presenting this message about the job that's being done, and we all hear the stories. Big up Deji, by the way, and I
A
hope to
big
be on a
update
stream
is
with you
for
again
us.
very soon. And we all hear the headlines about some of the shady deals that he did with trying to get Marquinhos to come and join us, and also having making those payments to a Brazilian club. I believe it might have been Sao Paulo or something. I'm not too
Yeah,
sure.
about
To try
3 million.
to try and ensure a working relationship. That screams kickback to me in many, many ways. And yet, all of that seems to be swept under the carpet.
Hmm.
So I think when we fail to win something, if we fail to win anything, then more and more things like this are going to come to light, and people are going to realize that they've been taken for a ride. But we really shouldn't be focusing too much on that, to be honest.
On that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely.
look, there's so much. There's been so much controversy with Lionel Messi winning the Golden Ball ahead of Erling Haaland, for Pete's sake. So, look, I'm happy that Messi won because of his World Cup exploits and his performances for Inter Miami. Erling Haaland is suffering from a small case of second season syndrome and is still scoring a few goals, but
Hmm.
he's finding out the hard way that maintaining a purple patch will not be easy. And Emmy Baba said it perfectly. Forget about the
Yeah.
awards to Edu.
Shout
Arsenal
out
need to
Amy
win
Baba.
trophies. And you know what? We're going to let that be the last word on this issue.
Definitely, definitely. Manny, the last one before we go. Arsenal square up against Brentford. Yeah. What do you think will be the final score? What's your prediction for that matchup? How do you want to see it? Odegaard might be coming back. Do you want to just see Odegaard or do you want to see an informed Odegaard come back? What do you think about that matchup before we go?
Ooh, I will make it crystal clear that obviously this is going to be Aaron Ramsdale's one of his final chances, because we've heard a lot of things that have been said about the controversy surrounding him and his father. And I think, look, this is going to be another chance for him to try and prove himself. He didn't take his chance against West Ham in the League Cup. He's got to take this chance. He's also got to do a lot more, as I said on Anthony Herbert's stream, Football United, of course, that
Yeah.
unless he does more work overtime to mend fences with Arteta and the rest of the club, he's got no future with us. So I hope he does well. I don't think he'll keep a clean sheet because Mbuemo and company will be in form. But with Brentford going through a bit of a stammering, stuttering run of their own, I wouldn't expect anything less than 3 points from this game. But it will be tight. It won't be comfortable. I'd like to go for a 2-1 win. And Mbuemo should get their goal. But I'd like to see Martinelli and maybe Trossard get our goals. And back to your question on Odegaard. Look, the midfield that we've been having, obviously, Jorginho has been playing and captaining the side because of Odegaard's absence. And speaking of Jorginho, I'm going to be actually watching him take on Zinchenko and the Ukraine in the next few minutes. But come over to the coach's corner where you'll see me and Hanno doing that. And
Definitely.
but if Odegaard does come back, then Jorginho will definitely drop out. But again, this has to be a game where Odegaard, if he is fit enough to come back, will really need to prove himself. He will really need to make sure that he takes the game by the scruff of the neck. And normally he will do it against your teams like your Brentfords, your Sheffield Uniteds, your other smaller teams like that. But
Yeah.
he still really to do it against the bigger teams, and that is really what he must do. Sadly, it means that Havertz will end up starting again, and I really do not want to see this guy starting in for Arsenal any more than you do. But
Yeah.
if we had to drop someone for the sake of balance, it will have to be Jorginho. That way, Odegaard, Rice, and Havertz can try and play together. And then Jorginho can come on for Rice or Odegaard if the situation desires. And if Gabriel Jesus is able to prove his fitness with Brazil and prove his fitness with Arsenal, I want to see him back in the squad, but definitely not starting. Keep the same front three that started our most recent games. Trossard as the false nine, Martinelli on the left. I know Martinelli should be a centre forward and Trossard should be on the left, but knowing Arteta and his wonky mentality, that won't happen. And of course, Ben White's injury means that it will be Zinchenko at left back and Tomiyasu at right back. And all I can say to end it all is we cannot afford another injury. No
We
chance.
can't afford. See, guys, listen to what he said. We can't afford another injury. And guys, mind you, the one that is even making me more scared right now is Kai Havertz to play in that left back position. Guys, it's not. See, guys, it can happen. Mikel Arteta might start getting ideas from that German match that was played where Kai Havertz started as in the left back position and scored for Germany too. Mani Tangajirai, tell these people where they can find you and also tell them where you're going to, what you have in the next 1 minute or so.
Yeah, well, in the next 1 minute, I'm actually going to head on to Hanno's Coach's Corner to do a watch along for the Ukraine-Italy game. This game, of course, will decide who of these two will be joining England in the European Championship. So catch me on the Coach's Corner. I'm heading there right now, and do like and subscribe. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. We do some good work together. Also, catch me on Tony Claude Gunner TV. I always big this man up whenever I go on another stream. Big up as well to Del Boy Gunner TV, Oris Talks Football, Danny AFC TV, Up the Cherries in all departments, Eugene Spurs Asia TV, AFC Talk Show TV, also Anthony Herbert and Football United. There's no way that I can forget him. And also big ups to our mutual friend, the Southern Gooner. I've done
Oh, yeah.
several streams with him. I hope to get back on with him again. And also to Northside LDN, our Portuguese Angolan brother. Really, really good quality content. And yeah, you can also catch me on social media. My ID is Manny Thangatherai 1981 on Instagram and Threads. And if you want to catch me on Twitter, it's just Thangatherai 1981. That's my surname and my year of birth. And I always say whenever I come onto a stream that it's important to make sure that we treat each other the way that we'd like to be treated, because if we cannot agree to disagree without being disagreeable, there's no point in having a discussion. So let's cut the snide, cut the banter, and let's make sure that we have a good quality discussion. Big up to everyone who's joined in the chat. Wonderful to see you all again. Do please like this video, subscribe to Tony's channel. You're the ones who will make this video and his channel what they are. Tony, once again, big up to you. I will hope to catch up with you once again. And
Definitely.
until then, I hope all
back.
of you take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of this. Enjoy this upcoming week. Enjoy the sports on offer, and don't do anything that Tony and I wouldn't do. But for now, it is farewell to thee and goodbye and God bless to all of you. Cheers.
We are out. Cheers.